Cassie, when I was trying to think about what my job was as an MC, I thought there should be some kind of tribute to you in the proceedings. So I asked your friend,
oh no,
poet Elka Cloak,
oh no,
who composed the poem in the front of City of Ashes and one in Clockwork Angel, if she would compose an ode to you. She did.
Oh boy.
So here, straight from Elka's pen, is this ode to Cassandra Clare. Her hair is the color of a Cheeto. Teenage girls all think she's neato. If you ask her for romance, she will give you leather pants, which I'm wearing in tribute right now. If you ask her for more plot, she'll make the hero really hot. Just don't ever ask to see a character live happily. Her readers know she does not care about protagonists in pain. Her hero's woe will put Cassandra Clare on the bestseller list again.
Oh, that was cool.
So this poem is actually a great lead into my first question, which is, why are you so cruel? Do you like it when I cry?
I do. I enjoy it. I don't know. It just seems like a question with a very short answer. I like torturing my characters, and the side effect is torturing readers. But you know, the main point is torturing the characters. I feel like, was it Aristotle said that plot is character revealed through action. And I believe that, to go one step further, plot is character revealed by pain. The pain that you inflict on them reveals what kind of people they are. So really, I thought all this character torturing through.
Well, I'm glad for that. So given how cruel you are, I hesitate to ask, but will there be any more Mortal Instruments books?
Actually, there will be. There's going to be a fourth Mortal Instruments book. That will be announcement number 1. It's called City of Fallen Angels, and it's going to come out approximately March of 2011. There are many publishing people here who are crying to hear you, because the rush to get a book out from now till 2011 is like expensive. That's like really, really fast publishing, and they're like, why don't they appreciate what we do? But it's true. That's about as fast as they could do it. Not to mention that in the interim period between the City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels, there will be the Clockwork Angel next year. So there will be a book.
So I know you're pretty firm about the Mortal Instruments being 3 books. Did something change your mind? Do you consider this to be a new series?
What happened was I was contacted like about a year ago by a graphic novel company that wanted me to do spin-offs of the Mortal Instruments books in the form of graphic novels. And I really like graphic novels, so I thought, sure, you know, that seems like an interesting idea. I wonder if there's a story that I have to tell that would make a good graphic novel. So I started to create a story about Simon from the Mortal Instruments books and sort of spin him off, because I knew what happened to him at the end of City of Glass, even though I hadn't finished it. And to spin him off and kind of figure out what his adventures would be after the events of City of Glass ended, and I knew that he was suddenly this character who had like all of this power, really no idea what to do with it, and I thought he would have an interesting story. So I sort of called it the Daylighter book, and I wrote a bunch of it and plotted out a whole plot, and then realized partway through that it just didn't work as a graphic novel. I didn't see it as a graphic novel. It wasn't working for me in that format, but maybe someday I thought I'll write it as a book. So when I approached my publishers about writing a book about Simon at some point, they were excited about it, and they said, well, you know, have you thought about it? And I was like, actually, I have this whole plot that I've already, like all of this paperwork and everything, I already know everything that happens, so I feel like it could be a book. And so we talked back and forth about it. They were very excited about the idea. They like Simon, and so They strongly felt, though, having looked at the outline, that it instead of being what I thought of it was like a totally separate book, like just called like Simon, City of Simon. Even though it is actually called City of Simon in my contract, because I thought that was funny. They were like, all the other characters are in here too, sort of weaving through the background, doing stuff. So we really think of it as like a continuation of the mythology from the previous series. So we're going to call it Mortal Instruments 4. Okay.
So that means we're never going to have a graphic novel? I'm never going to have a Mortal Instruments graphic novel?
Actually, the graphic novel guy was very nice about my realizing that I didn't want to write that as a graphic novel, and has decided to adapt all 3 Mortal Instruments books now into graphic novels. So the studio that's doing it is called Third World Studios. And they've sent me some artwork, which is really great, and they're getting started on doing the graphic novels for the books, and there'll be little bits of original content in each of the graphic novels, so I think it'll be fun.
Did you know when those are coming out?
I'm looking at my agent, I don't know. No, I don't know. Depends how fast they can make it happen.
So, graphic novel. That's almost like a movie, but still. Do you have anything else you might like to tell us?
I can't get this cookie open. You want to get it open for me?
I could try.
Okay. So yeah, so that's it really. Then we're done here, right? All right, fine. So yes, it's almost like a movie, but not as much like a movie as an actual movie. And since my agent forgot to bring me this press release, I'm going to read it to you off my phone. Unique features to develop and produce a trilogy of films based on Cassandra Clare's New York Times bestselling. The Mortal Instruments. New York, August 22nd. Bob Shea and Michael Lynn's unique features will develop and produce The Mortal Instruments, a trilogy based on the supernatural New York Times bestselling young adult fantasy series of the same name written by Cassandra Clare. We are excited to be developing and producing the fantastic material written by her, and look forward to bringing her fantasy series to the big screen, said Bob Shea and Michael Lynn.
So, yeah, I mean, you can tell us when the movie is coming out. Can you tell us about the cast? Can I be in it? I brought a headshot.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe. Depends what you do for me. I don't know anything. I know they have a screenwriter. I know they have financing for the movie. That's like the earliest things that you do. You get a script and you get money. So that's what they're doing now. Beyond that, they don't have a casting director, so that means they are not casting. It's like you can't hire people for a company unless you're in the human resources department. So, you know, it's the very beginning stages of this, and it's very exciting, but none of that stuff has happened yet. We fielded lots and lots and lots of calls and inquiries from different production companies over the past couple of years, and this was the one that my film agent was really excited about, because Michael Shea and I can't pronounce the other guy's name. Never mind. Bob Shea and Michael Lynn are the guys who did Lord of the Rings and a lot of other wonderful movies at New Line, and they did The Golden Compass, and they did a whole bunch of other stuff, and so and then the Lord of the Rings movies are my favorite fantasy movies that anyone has ever made. So I felt like, well, they get fantasy, and you know, they get sort of telling an epic story without chopping out a bunch of the stuff that makes it work. And so I think the best thing I can do is give the rights to them and hope that they do a good job. So hopefully they'll consult me, but they are not required to. So I guess we'll see.
Okay, here's my last question for you. Have you heard of a game called Marysnog Cliff?
I've heard of well, the version I've heard is dirtier.
Took me a long Google to find this.
I get it. Yeah, but Marysnog, throw off a cliff, right?
Right. Can you explain how it works?
Somebody gives you 3 names, and you have to decide of the 3 of them who you would marry, who you would snog, which is make out with, or who you would throw off a cliff.
All right, here's my question.
Yeah,
Marysnog Cliff, the Inquisitor, Valentine, Raven, or Demon?
I don't think that's that hard. I think that I would marry the Inquisitor because she's basically a good person, and I could marry her in Massachusetts, which is where I live. That'll be cool. You know, I think that, you know, she's got a lot of problems, but couples therapy, we could work through that. However, Valentine has had a bad track record of torturing and drugging his previous wives, and I'm not up for that. So I would tug him because he is more attractive than the Ravener, which I'm wrong with. I think Valentine's kind of hot, just, you know, not a good person.
Fair enough, all right.
Whereas the Ravener demon is like a foot tall.
He could be a good provider.